Istanbul. Let's fucking go. First impressions are chaotic. I love it. It reminds me a lot of Beijing actually, because of the traffic, I think, and the hustling and bustling. And yeah, meeting up with my couchsurf host now. Let's see if we can find him. Woo. What's good, everybody, dear Dovies and everyone else listening and watching to this. I just recorded the German episode, so please forgive me if I don't remember any of the vocab. It's always hard to do German and then English, or English and then German right after. But I can't even believe it. I'm sitting in the middle of one of the ancient 7 world wonders. The temple of the goddess Artemis, the Artemision as they call it, here in Ephes. The town is called Selçuk today. It's just an hour and a half by public transport south of Izmir, where I'm staying right now. And yeah, I figured this might be a nice place to record the next vlog, just to pick you up where I left you after the first one, which was in Thessaloniki. So we've got a lot of days to cover. I hope this is not going to turn out too long. Yeah, it's actually really surreal to be sitting in the middle of this, because there's no, like, you know, you can just walk wherever in these ruins. But anyway, Thessaloniki, where I stayed with MVI, the Medical Volunteers International. If you want to, you can check out the podcast that I recorded there with Ash, which was a super interesting podcast in my opinion. Just click on the link there. And yeah, I stayed 3 nights overall in Thessaloniki, and basically had 1 day of exploring really, where I took the bus into the city center. What's up, guys? With all the podcasts and everything, I haven't shown my face actually in a while, I think. So real talk, the weather is not the best. It's like drizzling, rain a little bit, but as we say in Scouts, there's no bad weather, there's just bad preparation. My bus is about to come. I'm heading to Thessaloniki. I could have gone with people who just went to the airport, but just forgot that they are going the same way. So yeah, here we go. And had a very interesting mask and COVID moment, because there were still quite a few people wearing masks compared to Austria anyways. So I asked a girl in the bus if it's mandatory, and she said no, it's actually not, but then it said somewhere that it's mandatory, but I forgot my mask in the hostel anyways. So yeah, I just didn't worry too much. And got off at the White Tower of Thessaloniki, which is one of the major landmarks there in the city center. This is where we're gonna go. Had a little fun encounter with some scammers, I guess, that tried to scam tourists. So you get to a touristic place like this White Tower, and immediately there's gonna be tourist scams. Somebody was just like walking up to me and they were like, oh yeah, what's your name, blah blah blah, you're American? No, I'm Austrian. Oh, Vienna? No, there's a Jamaican party tonight, you are invited. And I was like, oh cool, where? He's like handing me a bracelet, and of course you needed the bracelet to get into the party. So I said no thanks, have a good day. But yeah, we're here at the White Tower in Thessaloniki. It's a historic landmark. I read a little bit about it. I hope I'm not getting it wrong, but records date back to the 12th century. Then the Ottoman Empire came, and it was a infamous prison and place of mass executions. And then it was whitewashed in the 19th century, and now it's the major landmark in Greece. Oh, wrong way. Beep, beep, beep. And from there, I walked towards the upper city of Thessaloniki, took a little detour, stopped for some street food, which was really nice. Mahlzeit aus Thessaloniki, Street Food, Burrata, 2 Euro, passt gut ins Budget. Bisschen wie Burek mit Käse innen drinnen. Ziemlich nice. Danke für euren Support. See guys, this is how hospitality works. You go for street food, and then you just get a customary dessert, just for free, and water, without ordering Just I spent €2 on like a burrata, and that's it. Awesome, I love it. Came by the birth house of Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic, and had a very interesting encounter with a guy called Theophanes. Theophanes is an artist, and I just walked by his tiny shop and saw him putting mosaics. And it might start raining now, so maybe. All right, yeah, I'm gonna stop this. All right, we're just gonna try it and see if this works. I was just about to tell you the story of Theophanes, then it started raining. In the meantime, I've walked from the Artemis Temple into the city of Ephesus, and I'm right now in the old amphitheater, which is massive, and it has really cool acoustics. So I don't know how many people can hear me talking, but I don't really care. So Theophanes' workshop. I just walked by and I saw him doing mosaics, and I stopped, knocked on the window and just asked if I can take some pictures and videos, and turns out that he speaks German because he lived 11 years in Aachen in Germany. And I told him that my grandpa, who is actually, or would have turned 100 years old this year at the end of March, also was an artist and did some mosaic art as well. And so we got talking a little bit. I asked him about his work, and it was just a really, really nice encounter. My first really special encounter. No, that's a lie. Not my first one, but just another really special encounter. And he told me that he always wanted to be doing this as a main job, but all his teachers and mentors, they told him, yeah, forget it, you can't do this. And so he became a painter, like, you know, huge areas. But he's doing it as a side job and is earning some money at least, because he's doing some jobs for, you know, churches around Thessaloniki. Yeah, and just the whole neighborhood of uptown Thessaloniki was really nice. And yeah, sat in a cafe up there, sweated my ass off walking up the stairs, enjoyed the view of the rainy city a little bit. I haven't been too lucky with the weather, like I said. And that was basically my day of exploring. Thanks to you guys, because you voted that I should go explore. And yeah, the next day I think was another work day basically, and also recording the podcast. And then I had it on. I left Thessaloniki and I got a ride with one of the doctors volunteering there, Susanna, who, which was really funny. We actually got into the wrong car first, and it was also an MVI car, but the wrong one. And the key didn't work and nobody was really sure what's going on. Then we found the right car and we went to Lagadikia, which is a town close to Thessaloniki, and there is a camp and especially a community center for people on the move. They cooperate with IHA. I don't remember what the acronym stands for. I'll put it down here and I'll show you the tour that I recorded there. What's up, guys? Before I hit the road, I just got a lift to the Lagadikia Community Center. It's run by an NGO called IAH. Yeah, have a look with me. Of course, I butchered the letters. It's the Inter-European Humanitarian Aid Association, IHA, and they have a kindergarten on site for all the families there. They have learning opportunities like English classes, German classes, so everybody can learn, and pretty much everyone's welcome. You don't necessarily have to be a person on the move. They have a library, they have so many books in Arabic, in English. They offer leisure activities, games, they have a PlayStation, all the other games, yoga mats, and just in general, a lot of awesome people, volunteers that are helping. So make sure to follow them, and if you can, donate. And from Lagadikia, I just put my thumb out again, wrote a sign saying I want to go to, I think it was Kavala first, which is a town on the way to the border between Greece and Turkey. And it took me quite a long time to get my first ride, and then this guy who was just having lunch, eating a gyros in the car, stopped. I believe his name was Stavros, but I don't remember exactly. Forgive me if you're watching this. he dropped me off at the next gas station. And gas stations are a great spot for hitchhikers, as you might know, because there's a lot of cars stopping and they slow down anyways, so it's easy to hitch a ride there. And it didn't take me too long to get the next one with Aristandros. Aristandros is a Greek soldier, a parachute soldier in fact, but due to medical reasons he's on a break right now. And we hit it off immediately, and I really hit the jackpot with him because he was going all the way to his hometown, close to like literally 10 kilometers away from the Greek-Turkish border, and which was also cool in one way, but then kind of screwed me in the end, because it took us much longer, but he took the slower road, not the highway. So he could look at things, stop at places, and so he showed me a lot of things on the way, which was really cool. I'm here with my friend Aristandros. He was nice enough to give me a lift. He's gonna take me all the way to Alexandropoli, which is quite close actually to Turkey, where I'm trying to go. And now we just stopped at the Lion Monument, which is from the 4th century BC. And he just told me that they actually replaced it just before the First World War. Super cool. And I'm super grateful that he's showing me these places. I've never seen those places if I had gone on the highway. So yeah, thank you so much. Afkaristo, my friend. And we also hit it off talking about, you know, philosophy, God and the world, love, and relationships. And which was really interesting is that he is revering the old Greek gods. So he was saying, you know, that Hermes blessed me because Hermes is the god protecting all travelers. And yeah, I just made a few references to that the rest of the drive, and it was super nice. We got to the border quite late, but he even went out of his way to drop me there. So Evcharisto again, if you're watching this, Aristandros. This guy is amazing. He's such a yeah, he went far and beyond. He took me all the way to the border instead of going home to have dinner with his dad. And Evcharisto, thank you so much. And yeah, just had a coffee at the border and then attempted the border crossing. Not only attempted, I ended up succeeding, but it wasn't exactly without any obstacles, because unlike the other border crossings that I had so far, it wasn't able to walk. And the Greek border officer warned me that if I walked over the bridge, then the soldiers are going to arrest me. So there was a little second of panic, or like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? And then I figured I'm just gonna, you know, ask anybody who's gonna stop here at the border if they can take me across the bridge. The first 2 Turkish guys I asked, they didn't really want to. And then I thought that I saw a German passport of one of the truckers who was getting his paperwork signed. It ended up being a Moldovan passport, which apparently looks similar. And he didn't speak any English whatsoever, but he was nice enough to take me across the border bridge, and just, you know, dropped me off on the other side. And I got my stamp on the Turkish side. I was thinking about getting a data SIM card there already, but then I was like, maybe you'll pay tourist taxes at the border. Maybe I can get it cheaper after. Turns out that it was just the same price, so I could have done it there. But yeah, anyways, I got some Turkish lira, exchanged them for euros. The exchange rate is about 20 lira for 1 euro, more or less, depending on the rate that you get. And actually, the inflation in Turkey has been incredibly high. Prices have gone up a lot, like I think over 100%. Somebody told me. I don't know if this is true, so you please feel free to fact check me and comment the correct amount in the comments. But yeah, so I was at the border, I got my stamp. I thought I got my stamp. Then I wanted to leave the border area, and the lady who checked my passport again told me I don't have the correct stamp, because the guy mixed up the months, because it was 1st of March and he gave me a stamp with 1st of April. So I had to go back. He had to get like a cancelled stamp. So I have 2 stamps in my passport right now. I hope that's not going to get me in trouble when I'm leaving Turkey at the end of this month. And yeah, then I continued hitchhiking, which also took me a while. I want to say about half an hour before somebody stopped. In fact, a gentleman called Göksan, who was nice enough to take me to the next largest city called Uppsala. And he would have taken me into the city center, but then on the way there was like a big road and there was some cafes and restaurants alongside the road, and I figured it was just, you know, a gut feeling that it might be better to get off here. So he dropped me off there, and I went to one of the cafes that I saw was still open to get some Wi-Fi. And, you know, super friendly people there welcoming me, hoş geldin, which is a sentence that I already really love in Turkish. It just means welcome. And I got my first Turkish chai. Right now I think I'm at 45. And yeah, just got some Wi-Fi to make a plan. I already had accepted my fate that I'm gonna spend my last night, my first night in my hammock somewhere outside. And then I was about to leave and they were, you know, closing down because it was quite late. It must have been probably around 11, maybe even after 11 p.m. And they were like, where are you staying? And I was like, maybe I'll go to the hotel, but if it's expensive, I'll sleep outside. And then they were thinking and chatting a little bit. It was one of the owners, his name was Emre, and one of his employees and friends. I think his name was Selim. Please forgive me, Selim, if I don't remember your name correctly. And they were like, all right, you know what? You can just sleep in our apartment. We have an open room. It's not clean. So they gave me a fair warning, but it was fine for me. I think they had some workers staying there before. So, you know, there was still actually some food around, and it wasn't the cleanest room, but it was totally fine for me. I just slept in my sleeping bag on the couch. And spent my first night in Turkey. And then had a shower in the morning, got up, walked down to the cafe, was about to leave, and then, actually no, I was about to make a plan, do some work, get some work done. And Emre was already preparing this amazing Turkish breakfast called kahvaltı. It's typical Turkish breakfast.
Yeah, guys, I told you about breakfast. So Emre, the boss of this awesome place and a super friendly host, just prepared all of this for me. I don't know how I'm gonna finish all of that. But yeah, great way to start the day, and hoping to head to Istanbul after this.
So we had breakfast together, one of the employees joined us, and I also got to meet the co-owner, Davut, and it was just super nice. So huge shout out to the Moon and Sea Cafe and Lounge. No sponsorship besides the breakfast and the place to stay. But yeah, they were just being super nice, and I already felt that Turkish hospitality that has accompanied me until now. And from there, I started hitchhiking again, went to a big roundabout I got my SIM card first, because Selim was driving into the city center anyway, so I went to a Vodafone store, paid about 35 euros for a month worth of data. I think you get 25. I've got 25 gigabytes and like 700 minutes of call, which obviously I'm not going to use. And from there, walked along the road. Nobody really took me on that road for some reason. I ran into this Australian guy, super random guy, sitting on a truck, not a truck, a tractor, sitting on a tractor, telling me that his girlfriend or his girlfriend's family is from here and he's helping out on their cherry and almond farm. And we would have chatted on, but people were already honking at him, so he left. And yeah, walked from there to a big roundabout. Took me a long time to find my first ride again. And then I think his name was Mohammed or Ramazan. I'm not sure exactly. He was with another young gentleman from Afghanistan in the car, and they took me to the next gas station. And at the gas station, I was thinking maybe I should just, directly put my thumb out again, but then I was like, maybe I should try and make some friends in the gas station and in the cafe There was a restaurant as well. Immediately there was a guy offering me a ride to the next largest city, Kefshan I think was the name of the city, but he wanted 30 euros, and I was like, yeah, no, sorry, I don't have money. And I showed them my sheet of paper. All right, guys, again, it's quite cold today actually, and I've waited for my first ride for a while. Now I'm at the gas station where they took me, and I remembered that I prepared these. You won't be able to read it. This is in Turkish. I have the English version, and I printed these out in every language of the countries that I'll be going to. And this just saved my ass, because you know, I have my big backpack, so people are like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you going? And I showed this guy the text, and he was like, let's go to Istanbul together. This is how you do it. Always be prepared. That's what scouting teaches us. And even on a cold, shitty day like this, things will work out. And I showed it to this guy. He was like, all right, you know what, have some chai. There was another trucker having lunch, and he was like, what are you doing here? I think he said it in Turkish. I explained to him I only, Türkçe bilmiyorum, İngilizce, English. And I showed him the sheet of paper also, and he was like, all right, you know what, let's go to Istanbul together. Because my friends, they love when I can go with trucks. They really love it. So I'm right now in another truck with Bora. He's kind enough to taking me all the way to Istanbul. I just met him at the gas station. He had some food there, and we had some chai. I showed him the paper that I showed you guys just before, and he was like, let's go to Istanbul together. So yes, let's go. How do you say in Turkish again? Let's go?
Let's go. Hadi gidelim.
Hadi gidelim. Yeah, that was just super nice, and we got along really well. We had, you know, some conversation. He spoke some English. He was going all the way past Istanbul. I think still in the municipality area, but not in the city center. So he dropped me off at another gas station just before. There's this highway that goes north of Istanbul, and he obviously didn't want to leave the highway, so I was totally fine with that. We figured it out. And at the gas station, within 2 minutes, I had another ride to the airport. The new Istanbul airport, which is huge, it's massive. And there's a reason why I went there, because I figured I'm gonna struggle finding a ride into the city center where I wanted to go exactly. And also I have read online that it's not Istanbul city is not the easiest place to hitchhike. All right, Istanbul, let's fucking go. First impressions are chaotic. I love it. It reminds me a lot of Beijing actually, because of the traffic, I think, and the hustling and bustling. Yeah, meeting up with my couchsurf host now. Let's see if we can find him. Woo. And I had very detailed descriptions of how to get from the airport to my second couchsurf host, Bojan. Sorry, I did not forget about you. Bojan was my first couchsurf host in Novi Sad. And yeah, Ismail, my second couchsurf host in Istanbul, he told me how to get to his place. And he also told me I am having dinner right now with some friends, so just go there. And I met up with him. I had dinner with his friends. They were welcoming me, super nice people, all a little bit older, but obviously I don't mind about that. I also showed them my sheet of paper, and they were all like, wow, this is so nice, you're in the right place. And they were also, you know, philosophizing amongst themselves, like about traveling and hitchhiking and all that stuff. So a really cool experience. And then we went to Ismail's place, and I just want to say a few words. I hope you don't mind, Ismail, if you're watching, but he has a very unique sort of living situation, because right now, interimistically, he's living in the company apartment of a curtain company. And he knows the boss of the company, and so he lets him stay there until he finds a new apartment for his new job, which is closer to his new job. And he also has a roommate there, and I was staying in the quote-unquote living room, like the carpeted area where they also go to pray. Like all the company members, they go to pray there during the different times of the day. And his roommate, Abdel Farah, I hope I pronounced it correctly, he's from Syria, and he sadly, tragically lost, I believe, 23 family members in the devastating earthquakes. And he didn't speak much English, but we tried with an app. He was a master at preparing nargila, shisha, water pipe. So we did that pretty much every night, and it was really nice. And I found out later that there's loads of workers in Istanbul from Syria, and they're actually being, I'm not saying that this is happening in this company, I don't know, but in general they are often being exploited, which in turn then makes Turkish employees angry because they are afraid of losing their jobs because the Syrian workers are being exploited. And so there's a lot of friction going on as far as I understand. Anyways, that was day one in Istanbul, and the next day I just basically started with a work day, catching up on all social media work, loading all my footage on the laptop and into the editing program that I use. And then in the afternoon I met up with Ismail after he was finished with work, and we went to Balat district after my good friend and my favorite fellow scout leader Elvan, who is also has Turkish heritage, or Kurdish heritage in fact, I believe. Sorry Elvan if I'm getting this wrong, apologies. But she recommended me loads of places, and Balat was one of the districts that she recommended me specifically because it's like a melting pot and it has a lot of history, and a lot of people like of mixed cultures ended up there. And so Ismail and I went there, we walked around a little bit. Now it's really like a mixture of really worn down places and worn down buildings and very hip cafes and very hipster sort of people. And there's also a big Greek gymnasium, like a high school, I guess, which has very interesting architecture, sitting on a hill. So we checked that out. So I'm here in the Balat district with my couchsurf host Ismail. He's behind me in the mosque praying because it is now sunset. And behind me there is an ancient Greek, well, it's not ancient. It's a Greek high school. It's 140 years old. But the architecture is super interesting, and supposedly the architect was a castle architect, so he oriented himself on castles, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, and then walked back across the bridge to Galata district. Where we wanted to have some dinner, actually a kofte place that also Elvan recommended to me, but it was closed, unfortunately. So we just walked to the main landmark there, the Galata Tower. If you've been to Istanbul, you probably know it, and that is connected by Beyoğlu Street, I believe it's called, to Taksim Square. And Taksim Square is also very popular due to its history, and it's politically loaded, that place. And on the way we just had Ismail was like, okay, you know what, let's go to this place, let's have some burgers. And I was like, okay, I'm going to Istanbul to have burgers. But he was like, yeah, no, normally I don't eat burgers either, but this is really nice. It's like very Turkish sort of burgers, and they were really good. He was absolutely right. He showed me a hotel that I forgot the name of. We are here in the Pera Palace Hotel. This is my couchsurf host Ismail, and he just showed me this place. It's amazing. The architecture is really, really cool, and he told me that Agatha Christie wrote the Orient Express in this hotel. So yeah, have a look. Where Agatha Christie apparently wrote the Orient Express, super fancy place. And then we called it a night, just went back and hung out with Abdul Farah and his friend and another employee at the company, Amar, who's a TikTok star.
Alright guys, there's so much going on this table, it's actually really funny. We're having some beers, we're having some Naila. Everybody's chatting with friends on their phones, live TikToking, a lot of nuts and sunflower seeds, right? Apples, oranges. Abdul Fakar is preparing a new shisha. Whoa, what's the lights? Oh wow. Yeah. Friday nights in Istanbul. Look at that. Look at that. Just for the content.
Very interesting guy, also from Syria. He had a lot of tattoos. One of them was a Kalashnikov. I didn't ask any more questions, just out of respect, you know. I was curious, but I just thought maybe it's a better idea not to. And yeah, enjoyed our Friday night. And it was a tiny bit of a mistake in that sense that I only got 3.5, maybe 4 hours of sleep, because I had committed to join Ismail and his group of friends for their mosque tradition. Cami, as they are called in Turkish. And this group of friends has existed for apparently 20 years plus, sorry, and consists of more than 100 guys. And they are very nice people. We went there by cab, took the wrong way, actually prayed, and I joined him for prayer out of respect at a different mosque, and then walked to the correct one where his friends were waiting. Very multicultural. There was people from Eritrea, Turkmenistan, a guy called Zakaria who has a lot of knowledge and who was very kind and welcoming, who has Macedonian roots. And so it was really, really interesting, you know, getting to know the Muslim culture a little bit, and also just his friends. And part of the tradition is that they visit a different mosque almost every day, and they go to breakfast afterwards. We're here at having some chicken soup after the visit to the mosque. A very multicultural table from Eritrea, Turkmenistan, Macedonia, Turkey, of course, and they're always my friends, my couch of hosts, very kind people, very intelligent, smart people, and I'm gonna have the rest. Enjoy it. You know, discuss, laugh, have arguments, banter. It was really fun, and I had some delicious chicken soup, and Zakaria was just a very interesting guy. He had like a bag with some chocolates, and he just kept on randomly handing out chocolates to people that he met on the street and that he knew somehow. And then he took us to the Spice Bazaar, or Egyptian Bazaar as it's also called. I don't remember the Turkish name, unfortunately. Egyptian Bazaar, and apparently these are two bazaars that were put together, and this is the inside part. And it's actually incredible how intensive all the smells are. And there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, marketeering, people trying to sell stuff, people offering little tastes of everything. Yeah, I was just entering one side, now I'm exiting the other side. Maybe I'll go back because I have to find Ismail and his friends, because they might be waiting for me, I don't know. Because he knows somebody there, he has a friend there who's a chocolatier. Alright guys, I'm here at Sarboro Chocolates, and we spent the morning in the mosque and then had breakfast together, and look at this. That's amazing. And I got to try some. Here's Hiram. She makes the chocolate. She's amazing. She gave me some. I wanted to pay her, but she didn't accept my money. Yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to give some chocolates to my future hosts and people I meet on the street, because I guess it's just a nice little gesture. And you guys know I love chocolate. And she just started, Hilal is her name, I think, 4 years ago. She's actually a petrol chemist and is now living her dream as a chocolatier. Has this chocolate store called Saboroso in the Spice Bazaar. And we just hung out there for, I don't know, a couple of hours maybe even. And I walked around the bazaar a little bit by myself while they were chatting, and delicious chocolates. I actually got like a box. Of course, she gifted them to me. I really wanted to pay her money, but she was like, this is on me and on the house. You have this for yourself. But I got them so I could give them to people and kind of follow Zachariah's path. You know, just doing some kindness and being kind and having that... you know, that respect and holding up those values of hospitality and of sharing things. And as far as I understand, that's just a very big part in Islam and in Muslim culture. And again, if I'm talking bullshit, feel free to comment and correct me. But that's just how I found it to be and how I experienced it. Yeah, and checked out a mosque in the Spice Bazaar. And then actually went to Ismail's favorite mosque, the Suleimani Mosque, which is huge. And he has so much knowledge about mosques in general. And it was really interesting. He told me a lot of things. So we're here at Ismail's favorite mosque, the Suleimani Mosque. It's 500 years or over 500 years old. He's just trying to give the balloons to some kids. He just brought them. And this mosque is amazing. It's so impressive. I mean... look at that. There's ostrich eggs on the lamps, supposedly to scare away mosquitoes and flies, because they don't like, I don't know, the smell, the shape, I'm not sure. And there's so many like techniques to make the acoustic better that he told me about. And this very famous architect, for example, these holes are all for acoustics. It's incredible. So lucky to have the knowledge of local people like Suleiman, Ismail. Suleiman is the mosque. And then we went to the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. So as you can see behind me, there's the Blue Mosque with its 6 minarets. And as Ismail just explained to me, it's closed and it will be opening again for Bayram, which is the final celebration of Ramadan. Ramadan, as he just told me, starts on 23rd of March and then goes on for 1 month, right? Yeah.
In April.
In April.
22 or 23.
So we can't go inside. And right opposite of the Blue Mosque is the Hagia Sophia. World famous, used to be a church, is now a mosque as well. But we didn't line up because obviously Ismail has been multiple times. So I came back another day. And then I think we called it a day from there and just went back and relaxed a little bit. And look at this, guys. Ismail, who's right here, prepared this amazing dish. He even made his own wine out of what?
This is white grape.
And you said what else did you add?
Honey.
Honey and cinnamon, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
So, and the fish we're having is... what kind of fish?
Mackerel.
Mackerel and some nice vegetables. And some cheese we bought at the market today after we were on the ground stuck for like half an hour. What felt like half an hour. It was hard work. And he said, these, I quote him,
these are the best olives that I will ever taste. So I'm very excited. Thank you so much. Teşekkürler. Çok teşekkürler.
He had to work on the next morning on Sunday, so I did a little bit of work and then met up with my friend and former colleague Emily, whom I worked together with at the British School of Beijing in China for 1 year. And she then left to start working in Istanbul. So she's actually been in Istanbul for, I believe, 6 years. And she loves it, she told me. She's a massive fan of Istanbul, and she literally has an Instagram account dedicated to food, so feel free to check that out. Emily eats everything, I believe. And naturally, she gave me a lot of recommendations, which was really nice. And I've been following her recommendations so far. So huge shout out to Emily. We had an amazing, huge cavalti, which was actually more like a lunch for me because it was already lunchtime. And then I just kept on exploring by myself and walked a little bit across Galata Bridge. And I believe I recorded a little mini vlog there, which I'm gonna show you now. What's up, guys? I am now at the famous Galata Bridge, the bridge that connects the Kadıköy district and the Galata district on the other side. Actually, sorry, Kadıköy and Galata are on the same side. Behind me there's the old city. You can see some mosques. Maybe you can also hear the muezzin in the back. It's the time for prayer when the sun goes down. As I learned yesterday, there's very specific times, and you can even check on apps at what time you're supposed to pray and what time are allowed to be praying. What's up? And yeah, also this bridge is super famous, as you can see, for all the fishermen. I just walked back and forth and I counted 196 fishing rods on the bridge, and I saw at least a dozen of people who are also successful at getting some mackerel, getting some shrimp. I found the fish kebab, balık dürüm, Mesha balıkçı Eyüp, I think. I will put it. I will tag them and put the name down there. Super fucking good. Actually, I'm super lucky because they just packed up. I got the last one, I think. Cookskind. Thank you so much, Emily, for pointing this out to me. It's super delicious. 60 lira. It's some mackerel in it, some peppers, some salad, some sauce on it, and some delicious spices. And it's like right next to the sea. So if you go to Kadıköy, make sure to have one of these. Yeah, I'm gonna finish the rest. Fuck yeah. Good size. Shout out to my Australian friends. Look at the size of that cunt. Only 2 seconds in. Inside joke. Oh, shout out to Jesse. Oh yeah. Whew.
Look at that, not bad. Show me the size of this can. Fucking not bad. 2 seconds in, not bad. Good size.
After having that delicious balık dürüm, fish dürüm, I walked to Beşiktaş neighborhood because Emily told me there is a game on tonight by Beşiktaş Istanbul, which is one of 5 football clubs in the first Turkish division out of Istanbul. And personally, my favorite one, without trying to make any enemies, this might come and haunt me, but just because they have the same colors as my club, Sturm Graz. And I really wanted to try and get in, but it was impossible because I had my backpack with me with loads of equipment and there was no way to store it. And also, I think the game was sold out. I guess I could have been able to get tickets, so I just, soaked in all the crazy atmosphere. And really, Turkish fans are insane. They're so dedicated, they're so passionate. I'm really hoping to do some ground hopping at some point if my time schedule allows it. And yeah, made some friends in front of the stadium and it was just nuts. yeah, had some more street food, walked through Beşiktaş, and then also called it a night. That was Sunday. And then Monday, I attempted to go to the Iranian consulate to get my Iranian visa, because Iran is going to be the next country I am going to visit after Turkey. And I had already gotten my e-visa approved, but still had to get the physical stamp, which I failed on Monday because the visa office at the consulate is only operating on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right, my mission failed because the visa office is not operating on Mondays. Didn't know about that. Gonna try tomorrow, come back, because it's supposed to be working. I only found out because there was two Iranian ladies trying to get visas for their husbands from Brazil, and they told me, because there's no information anywhere. But I got some lunch now. I'm here at Osmanolu, a restaurant just nearby. But believe it or not, this is my first, in 5 days in Istanbul, this is my first döner kebab. Really good. I got the full menu for ayran and baklava for about €5. So pretty cheap compared to Austrian prices. And now I'm gonna enjoy it.
And then I went to the Hagia Sophia.
Alright, Hagia Sophia time. Just had lunch, so I'm ready to go and line up. Probably somewhere here? I don't know. We'll see. Alright, we got a funny line situation because somebody just told us we should go here to the free space. But now everybody immediately moved back to where everybody's passing. Oh, that's funny. Which was poor timing on my side because I think that was the prayer around lunchtime going on, so they closed it for a little while for the prayer. And I think I waited in line for an hour and a half, just behind a father and his daughter from Germany, I think somewhere near Frankfurt. And we just chatted a little bit, you know, passed the time in the queue, discussed a little bit about Turkish and Muslim culture, which was interesting, and then just went our ways. And I really took my time in Hagia Sophia because obviously it's extremely special, especially from the inside. It's just like literally awesome. And very, very inspiring. And so I was just sitting around there, taking in all the atmosphere. And also this is one of the things on a poster that I got the first time I moved abroad in the US. I got it at shout out St. John's and St. Ben's at a poster fair. 101 things to see in your life, and the Hagia Sophia is one of them. So check. And yeah, afterwards I think I met up with Ismail again. So Ismail has so much knowledge about mosques and Tami, which is really cool. And we are here now on the Anatolian side, on the Asian side.
Right.
What's the name? Sorry, I forgot of the mosque.
Şemsi Paşa.
Şemsi Pasha. And there's a cool story about this mosque because there's the guy who wanted it built asked the architect, a famous architect, Mimar Sinan, who's also building other famous mosques, I don't want any birds to shit on my mosque. And so he researched, you said, for 6 months, and he found this place where there's some turbulence, some winds above, so there's no birds flying around, even though we're right next to the sea and there's like birds and seagulls everywhere. So that's a really cool fun fact, which I would have never known if it weren't for this great host, this great guy of a host.
And we enjoyed a nice little sunset.
being delayed with my visa actually caused a few issues for me, because I was planning on going to Hatay, which is one of the regions devastated by the earthquake, actually one of the most severely devastated ones. I was meant to go with the Scouts of Turkey, and I was in touch with the General Secretary, and we were meant to leave on Tuesday, but because I didn't get my visa, I told them, hey, can we leave later? And she said, yeah, I think it's going to be fine. So I went back to the consulate on Tuesday morning. No problems with the visa, very quick process. I recorded a video there that I'm gonna show you now. Second try, mission accomplished, just outside the Iranian consulate. And yeah, just got my visa. It was actually fairly quick. I just had to wait in line for a little bit. There was like 3-4 people in front of me, and the process was super quick. He just typed in some things on the computer and got the stamp. On the e-visa that I had before, 75 euros, 1,500 lira. That's the EU fee as far as I know. They completely handle other visas differently, or other nationalities. There are also some people in line from Afghanistan, from Russia. I just talked to some guys from Switzerland. Obviously others have more complicated processes and also have to pay more or less money. But yeah, for me, I'm done for the... And then she told me, yeah, you won't be leaving tonight, but probably on Wednesday, maybe even with a flight. So, you know, I didn't rush. I took my time. I checked out Dolmabahce Palace, which ended up being too expensive. And I think I recorded another video. I'm here at Dolmabahce Palace, and this is actually going to be the first site that I'm going to skip because it's too expensive. It's 450 lira, which is about 23 euros. Way out of my budget. I've been overusing my budget totally anyways in Istanbul over the last few days. It looks really cool, as you can see. It has like a Baroque style mosque as well on the other side, and this little clock tower. Back there you can see the minaret of the mosque. But yeah, I've seen quite a few palaces in my life, and I feel like I'm not gonna miss out. So skip. And then, after I got home, I got the news that I won't be able to go because the team had already left and it already got to Hatay. And in the first moment, it was a huge bummer for me because I really wanted to help. I really wanted to support. And also, I'm gonna admit, I think this was a way for me to have, you know, a good feeling about traveling in Turkey. To give back something at least. I don't know if this is ethically, morally correct. Feel free to comment on that if you want to, what you think, or how you would have handled the situation. I think there's no ideal way to do it. There's no perfect way. People commented to me that I shouldn't have done a vote on going to Hatay. I should have tried to get there immediately. But honestly, I think it's much harder than some people think. And also it's not really advised to go as an individual. So yeah, I totally changed my plans on Tuesday and tried to figure out what to do. I sent some couch surfing requests for Izmir, which is the next largest city here. It's actually, in fact, the third largest city in terms of population in Turkey, which I had no idea. It's huge. I think it's 5 million inhabitants. So bigger than the biggest Austrian city. And then I remembered that I might have some connections here because I recorded a podcast with MERA, the Mediterranean Education Research Association, and two of their founding members, Steffi and Moni. And so I got in touch with Moni and asked her, hey, maybe can you put me in touch with ECAT, another organization that they mentioned on the podcast and that they cooperate with, and it operates in Belek, close to Antalya, on the Mediterranean coast. And it happened so quickly. Within half an hour, I had a host and a podcast guest. And when Denise, my host and podcast guest, heard that I'm a hitchhiker, she was like, 100% I'm gonna help you out. And it's just been amazing. I'm here in Ephesus now, which was really a dream of mine, or a massive goal for me. The sun is out now. There's no more rain. I'm gonna finish up this vlog now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the meantime, if you haven't checked it out, go see the first vlog or listen to the podcasts. You can see that here. I will probably, I don't know when I'm gonna record the next one or from where. You will see. Until then, keep it tight. Much peace and love. Until next time, Jakob.
Kurban olan dillerine var. Dediler yarim de gel, ince tebellerim kırılsın. Tev tev tellerine, kurban olan dillerine vay. Atımından alıyor